Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Bree from With Love Bree, and today I'm going to be putting together a 2-cassette boombox. So Kristiannescraftyadventures is the original creator of this boombox. So I will make sure to leave her original tutorial down below. However, I did get questions when I did a project share of this last Valentine's Day, and also I did another share on my Instagram a couple years ago of it. I did have some questions on my measurements, so I asked Christian if I can do another tutorial but with my measurements, so that way you guys can have a couple of varieties of this boombox, and she said that it was fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this video out finally. I got a message on my Instagram, which I don't ever get my messages on Instagram. I don't know why I don't get notifications, but on top of that, I'm not really on Instagram. But Rise Up Crafts on there actually DM'd me, and she asked me how I made it and if I had a tutorial. But she found Christian, so she was able to make Christian's boombox, but she still would like to see my tutorial as well, so that way she has an option to do both a 4-cassette or a 2-cassette. So before I actually start showing you guys how I made mine, this is what it's going to look like. So mine is just thinner. Christian's is just a little bit chunkier because you could fit 4 cassette tapes. I also adjusted the handle to mine because I like my handle just shorter. I just like that there's less space. That's just how I am with anything. I'm not a huge person that likes a lot of gap in between. But Christian's, I think, is also perfect because it is a bigger box. So it's all personal preference on what you like and how you like it. So I'm going to share with you guys my handle as well, and we're going to put one whole one together. I'm also going to share with you guys the cassette tapes to put inside of here as well, so that way you guys can just have all those measurements. These are the same measurements as Christian's as well, so if you already have those, they're basically the same. The only difference is the actual boombox and the handle that I switched up. So that is what my box looks like. It was weird because she messaged me after I had made this, and I have no reason why I made this box. I just love making these boom boxes. So one night I was just feeling creative, and I just spent hours and hours creating this boom box and the tapes. So I thought it was just like perfect timing, and I felt like that was a sign for me to hit up Christian and ask her, and then create a tutorial on my channel. So that's just a sample right there, but I did already pre-cut and score everything, but we will go over the scores and everything together as well, so that way you guys can see it get put all together. I'm gonna go ahead and start with the measurements for the cuts. So you're gonna need 4 sheets of 8.5 by 11 paper. I like to use the Michaels 110-pound paper. I do like to use the pink, so I am using the 2 pink shades from there. And for the boombox itself, you're going to need 2 pieces that measure 7.5 by 8 3/4. If I remember, I'll leave them in the description box. But you are going to have 2 sheets of that same size paper. And for one of the sheets, you want to make them just a hair bigger. So what I mean, like a hair bigger, but it's just very slight. Like, I don't know if you guys can see, but it's just slightly bigger on top. So that's all you want. You just want a hair bigger for the top. I do that personally just so that way it opens and closes easier. Sometimes I feel like if you score the sheet when they're the exact same size, sometimes they just get a little too snug. So it's just a lot better when you have a little more space. But it's up to you if you want it. If not, you can just keep the measurements the exact same. So I have 2 of those, again, cut at 7.5 by 8 3/4, with one being just a small, a tad bit bigger. And then you're going to need 2 sheets that measure, for the cassette tapes, you're going to need them that measure 9 by 6 3/4. These 2 you can keep the same. So again, 2 of them are going to be 9 by 6 3/4, and those are going to be your cassette tapes. So my boxes are made to work with the KSCraft cute cassette shaker dies, both for the large and the small size. I will link down these 2 dies down below, and I also actually used her box dies. So all 3 of these dies I will link down below. I believe this one Oh no, yeah, they're separate. There's a small and a large size. I use both, and then this is what I use to decorate the front. Now you don't need this specific die, however I do like it just because it does give it that boombox look, but you can literally just cut strips of paper and make the same effect. So as you guys can see right here, I just use it for, like, you know, the different stations and stuff. And sorry for the ratchet nails, I'm getting them done tomorrow. Finally, I was sick, so that's why it took a while to repost or to post my D-stashes, which thank you to those that did buy the D-stashes. There were a couple people that did buy from them, so thank you. I do have boxes left if you guys want to check them out. But anyway, yeah, so this is what it looks like. I have another one that I don't know where it's at. Yeah, I have another one that I keep as my prototype that I actually posted on Instagram, which I might have as on my thumbnail, so that way you guys can, you'll probably see it on my thumbnail. But I did make the little speaker parts shakers, because you can make them shakers. With this specific die right here, you can create little shakers, and I usually do that. But for Valentine's Day, flowers just calls my name, like, just for any season, but still Valentine's Day for sure. And so I thought I would use flowers for the spear parts. So I did use some Scrap Diva Designs flowers for that, and I went ahead and I added it onto speakers. So that's how mine looks. You can decorate them however you would like. So let's just go ahead and get started. The reason why I'm going to start with the top is because if you want to make the little window part, so this window part right here where the tape goes in, you have to do that before you cut anything, so, or even glue it. So I always like to start with this first so I don't forget. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a ruler. You guys, I'm jumping ahead. I didn't even go through any of the measurements with you guys to score. I am just like, okay, anyway. Okay, so I don't know where my scoreboard is, my full one, so I'm gonna have to use this one. I thought I unpacked it, but I might not have, so I'm gonna have to use this one. And I don't like using it because it's not a full scoreboard, and I'm just very particular. So anyway, and if you hear my daughter in the background, that's who you're hearing. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and start with the top, or like the boombox piece. Okay, so you're gonna take your piece. Now, it depends on how you like to score your pieces because everybody is different. So what you can do is you can score 1 1/4 on all 4 sides. Literally just take your scoring tool and you're just gonna score at 1 1/4, turn it, 1 1/4, turn it, and so on. You're just going to do it all the way around on all 4 sides on both sheets. Or if you need to have measurements, then what you're going to do is on the 7.5 inch side, you're going to score 1 1/4 and 6 1/4. Then you're going to flip it over to the 8 3/4 side, and you're going to score at 1 1/4 and 7.5. Mine doesn't go that far, so 7.5. So if you have a scoreboard that does have all the, you know, the whole way, then you can do it that way. But mine doesn't. So 1 1/4 works fine when it comes to a scoreboard like this. So again, it doesn't really matter. I'll have all those measurements down below for you guys, but it's all personal preference. I also prefer doing the 1 1/4 all and then 6 1/4, and then when it comes to putting the box together, one side is longer than the other. I don't know, sometimes that just happens with scoreboards, so that's why I usually prefer doing the 1 1/4 all around, if that makes sense. I hope it makes sense. I just trust it more because at least you know every 1 1/4 is going to be the exact same. As long as you're butting up your paper against your like top in the right side or wherever your scoreboard is, either there, but as long as it's touching there, your scores are going to be the same. So you're going to do that to both of your pieces. And then for the cassette tape, you're going to need 2 9 by 6 3/4 pieces. Now you're going to do the exact same measurements on both, so I'm just going to go over one, and you're going to score. So the same thing here, I'm going to start with the outer edges first. So you're going to score 1 inch all around your paper. Literally 1 inch, 1 inch, 1, and 1. Now, you're going to go ahead and have your paper at the 9 inch against the scoreboard, and you're going to score at 4 inches and 5 inches. So you're just going to go to the 4, you're going to score at 4 and 5. Or if you like, you can score at 4, flip it all the way around, and score at 4 again. It doesn't matter. It's the same thing because they're mirroring each other, if that makes sense. So you can do it either way. Again, if I'm going too fast, I'll have those measurements linked down below. But on this sheet, the 9 by 6 3/4, you're going to score at 1 inch all around. Then you're going to go on the 9 inch side and you're going to score at 4 and 5. Okay, so that is for the cassette tapes. Next is the handle. I don't think I shared with you this one yet. Yeah, I didn't. So this handle is up to you if you want to do pattern paper or cardstock. I did love how this one turned out. I usually use cardstock, but I do love how the pattern paper looks on the actual boombox. So that's what I'm going to use. So this is the pattern paper that I use. I even use little resin charms for the buttons on top. So I'm not going to embellish mine here on camera, but maybe I can do a separate video of me embellishing it. So I haven't touched the Woodland Grove collection yet, and I have a ton of it. So I pulled a piece of, bless you, I pulled a piece of paper that is from that collection, so that way this starts one for it. So for this here, you're gonna cut your sheet at 8.5 by 2.5 inches. This measurement is also the same. Oh no, this one I changed from Christian's. So for this one, you're gonna go ahead and start on the 8.5 inch side. And on the 8.5 inch side, you're gonna score at 1/2 inch and 1 3/4 on both sides. So you're gonna go and you're gonna score at 1/2 inch and 1 3/4. Then what you're going to do is you're going to flip it all the way around and do it to this, the other side. So 1/2 inch and 1 3/4. So that's what you're going to be scoring on that side. Then you're going to flip it over to the 2.5 inch side. And on the 2.5 inch side, you're going to score at 1/4 inch. This one is going to have more, so I'll have it down below. But you're going to score it at 1/4 inch, 1, 1 1/4, 2, and 2 1/4. Whoop, just make sure it's all against there. Okay, so I'll have those measurements down below because there's quite a bit. I'll do my best to put them on screen too, if I can remember, but those are the scores on there. So now we're going to go ahead and put together the box. So I'm going to start with my lighter pink pieces, which is going to be the boombox. I'm just going to put this back. All right, now I'm going to start with the top piece. Now my top piece, it doesn't matter if you keep yours the exact same, but my top piece is the one that's going to be a little bit bigger. So for that top piece, if you're going to be using the KSCraft die and you want to have that window, I'll share with you guys how I do it. Everybody's going to have their own way. You can cut a piece of paper and use it as your guide, and you just trace it and use your paper cutter to cut it. But for me, I like to use a ruler. So before I do any cuts or anything, what I'm going to do is I'm going to line my ruler up to the left 1 inch score line. So there is this score line that's right here. And I'm going to line up my ruler right up against that score line. And then what I'm going to do, I already made my marks, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pencil, and starting from the left side, I'm going to make a mark at 1 7/8, which is the small line after the 3/4 inch mark, and I'm going to mark it there. And then I'm going to make another mark at 4 3/8. So again, I'll put this down below. And 4 3/8 is right before the 1/2 inch. Okay, so I'm going to mark it there. Again, I'm going to mark at 1 7/8, 1 7/8, and 4 3/8. Then I'm going to turn my paper counterclockwise, and then I'm going to line it up against this 1 inch mark right here. And just try to stay close to all your marks so that way you have a guide. And then I'm going to mark at 1 3/8. So again, the one before the 1/2 inch. So 1 3/8 and 3 1/8. And that's the first small line before the 1/4 inch. So once you make those marks, you're going to use your ruler and you're just going to create a rectangle. Now, if your lines go past each other, you can just erase it. It's okay. So what I'm going to do is take my pencil. Oops. I'm just going to take my ruler. And I'm just going to find my marks that I made up here and down here. And I'm just going to do my best to make a line. Okay, so once you have the rectangle drawn on there, this is what it's going to look like. So again, it's up to you if you want to use a ruler. If you don't, then all you have to do is just cut a little rectangle that you think would work best on here and then use it as a mask or like a little template. But I like the ruler method, so it's what I use. It's up to you guys. So now there's going to be, I don't know if you guys can see, there's going to be a spot once I fold everything that's going to be shorter up here and a little bit bigger up here, down here. So the shorter one's going to be the top part and the lower one's going to be the bottom, or the bigger one's going to be the bottom. Because when you use the die, so again, a lot of this is based on off the die, you're going to want to have the thinner piece because this die cut right here is from the KSCraft boombox die. You want it to fit nicely in there and not have it to be too big, if that makes sense, on top. So that's the reason why it's going to be smaller on top. Now, obviously, if you're not using this die, none of this part, like none of this right here matters. But that's if you guys are going to be using that die. Okay, so I went ahead and I cut that out. So this is going to be the top and the bottom right here because it's a little bit shorter up here, lower, bigger down here. So now what I'm going to do is start cutting or folding. So that's the next thing. You just want to fold all of your score lines. So I'm going to do that to all my pieces. Okay, so now once I have everything folded, we're going to go ahead and get started on cutting. So I already cut this one because it's going to be the exact same as this one. But this one I am going to be cutting a couple of the flaps off. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys that. But let me go ahead and share with you these two pieces first. So we'll start with the boombox part. And what you're going to do is on your shorter side, this is how I like to cut it. It doesn't matter which way, but I just think it's cleaner doing it this way. I don't know why, but this is how I do it. So on the shorter side, you're going to go to your 1-inch corner here. There's little 1-inch squares on every corner. And what you're going to do is from this score line here on the left side, you're going to go all the way up to the 1-inch score line here. And all you're going to do are just make little tiny hinges, like little flaps to put your box together. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I like to use, bless you, I like to use smaller scissors to do this because, I don't know, I just feel like I get a better cut. Small, sharp scissors. So I'm going to go ahead and cut on the inside of the score line. When I say inside of the score line, what I mean is, so as you guys can see here, this piece, I'm going to cut on the right of the score line on this side and on the left of the score line on this side. Because when you look at a score, you can see that it has a left and a right to that score. There's a left side and a right side. So I'm going to go ahead and cut on the right side of this one. And then I'm just going to cut, there's that little, you're going to see when you score, there's going to be this little hill on the edge. I like to just cut that off. It just makes it easier to fold. Whoa, what happened there? Okay, so once you got that one off, you're going to do the same to this side. So this time you're going to go on the left side of the score line. Cut that off. Then you're going to turn it around and do the same thing to this side. Okay. So that one's done. Now for the cassette tape. Okay, and then you're going to do the same thing for this one. So both of these are going to be the exact same. Then for this one, you're going to, for both pieces, I already actually made, oops, sorry. I've actually already made one just to save some time. So that's already made. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to cut, so again, this time on the longer side where you have more of the score mark showing, that's where you're going to be cutting. So what you're going to do is you're just going to cut all of these score lines up to the 1-inch score line right here. So we're going to do the same thing that we did with the other one, and we're just going to go on the inside of the score lines and just cut little indent, or cut little spaces in between. Okay, so that is it for the cassette tape box. Now I'm going to go back to this one here, the one that has the little hole in there. Now if you are not cutting a hole in yours, you're just going to take one of them, and all you have to do is cut 2 of the flaps off. So you're going to have one where just one side has the flaps. Now it's just going to be the corner flaps, okay? Now if you do the little hole here, you're going to cut the side that is shorter on top. So like I said earlier, right, the shorter side here, you're going to cut the 2 flaps off. Now if you don't do the hole in the middle, then you cut whatever 2 flaps you decide to use. But this is where I'm going to cut. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like. You're just going to, what? So you're going to have 2 corners here cut off, and then 2 that are on here. Like this. So if you have the hole, make sure that you cut off the 2 parts right here that are on the shorter side. Okay, so that's how your top part is going to look, and this is the bottom. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the handle next, because I like to do everything at once. So it's up to you. If you like to, you know, put the boxes together and then start on the handle, you can do that. But I like to cut, score, do everything all together, all in the same line, all at the same time. So if I score everything, cut everything, glue everything, if that makes sense. All right, so this one right here, this is gonna be a little bit harder because I have pattern paper, but I'm gonna do my best here to show you guys. So let me focus. Okay, so you guys can see the score lines. Part that has the 2 lines, so there's gonna be a one side that has 1/4 inch and another side that has 2/4 inch. The one with the 2/4 inch, you're gonna go all the way down. So there's this 1/2 inch piece, and then there's this other score right here, 1 inch. So 1.5 inches. What you're gonna do is you're gonna take your scissors and you're gonna go all the way up. Let's see. To the 4th score line. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so you're going to go up to that. And then you're going to do that to the other side because it's a mirror. So you're going to just go up to the 4th score line. Just like this. So you guys can see right here, there's this 1/4 inch. You're going to cut past that 1/4 inch. And now you're left with this 1/2 inch here. I hope that makes sense. Then you're going to turn it all the way around and you're going to cut up to the 1/2. I mean to the 1/4, and literally just that 1/4 inch. So we're going to do the same thing and cut up to that corner like that. So you're left with something like this. Oh, my nail. But that's basically what it's going to look like, okay? So I hope that makes sense. So we're going to do this last. I'm going to go ahead and start putting the box together. So I'm just going to do the cassette tape, And it's just like putting any other, like if you made a pizza box, that's what it's like a paper pizza box. That's how you put it together. So you're going to, this is how I put mine together. Everyone's going to have their own way of putting it together. I like to just start from the bottom and then move my way up. You can start from the top and then move your way down. It's really up to you. Or you can even do the middle. So I'm going to take some liquid glue. And I'm going to go ahead and add glue here. And I'm just going to add it to the flap. Take that. So I'm going to add glue to that flap, and I'm going to glue this down. And then I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to do the same thing to this flap. And put glue on there, and close it up. And you just want to make sure that your edges here are clean, that there's no hangover, because you just want it to be clean. Okay, and then what I like to do is I like to put these two down like this, and I like to add glue. So I'm just going to add the glue. Again, this is up to you. I think Christian, she uses hot glue. I like to use liquid glue, but it's all up to you. You can use hot glue as well. Just be careful. And I'm going to go ahead and bring this in here and just close this up and seal the sides. And then what I do is I turn it around and just make sure it's lined up like this. And then I just take my bone folder and just make sure that it's on there. I'm going to go ahead and turn this over and do the same thing. Okay, so that one's all done now, and this is what it's looking like. So now all I have left is the top part. So you're going to have a box that's going to be created like this. You're going to have two ends that don't have little flaps. That's going to fold over your box, like a pizza box. So all you have to do is do these two corners right here. So I'm going to go ahead and add glue. And put that down. And you could do this with pattern paper. I just like to do cardstock first because it's thicker. And then you can always decorate. If you don't get the tapes, you can always decorate however. But I do love the die because they look like legit cassette tapes. They're so cute. Okay, and then next is this one. And I just like to use my bone folder just to make sure it's stuck on there good. Perfect. Just like that. Okay, so there are two boxes done. That's what they look like. So those are going to be the cassette tape boxes. Okay, so next is going to be the top of the boombox, and it's going to be the exact same as making the cassette tapes. You're just going to glue your flaps down to this, and you're just going to have that top part left over. So I'm going to go ahead and put my glue. It's going to be on the outside of the flap. So it's going to be, the glue is going to go on the outside, so that way you can flip it in. It goes in here. And then same thing here. Okay, so there it is. That's going to be the top. Now, if you want to sew, I usually sew my acetate in. This would be the best time to do it. Or it would have been the best time to do it before you glued anything down. I forgot to say that. I usually sew mine. Now, my machine, I haven't used my sewing machine in forever. I forgot to backstitch one side here, so my stitching started to slowly come off. So I ended up having to use some like trim to put on the outside, so that way the sewing didn't look too bad. But you would want to do that beforehand. So I'm probably just going to glue my acetate in and then put my cassette tape. But again, this is what it's going to look like. All right. Now we're going to do the same thing, and this one is going to be just like we did with the top piece, except we have 2 other flaps to glue. Okay, so now that I have my box here made, well, the bottom of my box made, I'm going to go ahead and attach this one. So the way I do that is I put my box together here, like how it's going to close. And then what I do is this flap right here is going to get glued onto here. So I'm going to go ahead and add my glue here. And this just makes me know, or this lets me know that my cover is going to fit nicely if I do it this way. You don't have to, you can just line them up if you would like, but this is how I like to do it. So, and then just glue it down. And then I like to open mine. When you open it back up, because it's still the glue is gonna be wet, make sure the one with the hole, that's the one that you want to bring down, because it'll just come off if it's not dry yet. So I'm just going to just make sure it's on there good. And there we go. It's on so nicely. And then I'm going to go ahead and open this up. And I'm just going to put my 2 cassette tapes in there. And they fit so perfectly. Okay, and then next I'm going to go ahead and do the handle. So now for the handle. Okay, so the part that has the larger cut on top, this one has the 1/4 inch. You're going to start on the top part. You're going to fold that in, and you're going to create this handle. So it's going to make this little rectangle when you start folding it. So you can see here. So again, this 1/4 inch right here is going to fold like this. You're going to fold this down. This little 1/4 inch is going to tuck inside of the rectangle, if that makes sense. So it's just going to roll in like this, and you're going to glue it. So I'm going to go ahead. What I like to do is I like to fold my piece over like this. There's about a 1/2 inch right here, and I'm going to put it on the 1/4 inch piece that we're going to be gluing on the inside. And I'm just going to put some glue. And what I like to do is I like to fold mine like this. Oops, oh my gosh. Yeah, okay. So I'm just going to fold it over and do it like this. Right, so I put it on that 1/4 inch. I folded it over. That 1/4 inch is laying flat. Now you have another 1/4 inch on top of here. And look, it glues perfectly. That's what I love about things like this. So it's easier like that than having to try to like glue it while it's like this, because it's going to be too hard to get inside there. So that's how I do mine. And then I'm going to go ahead and take more glue, and this 1/4 inch piece is going to get glued on to there like this. And I just use that and flatten it. And just use a bone folder. Okay, so once that's all glued down, that's what you're going to be left with. I hope that wasn't too fast, but literally you're just going to put the glue on one of the 1/4 inches here, the outside part. So you're going to put it on here. You're going to fold this over like this, and it's going to glue. You're going to have this hanging off. So you're going to put it on that 1/4 and then glue it, right? That's on this piece. So I hope you guys caught that. All right, next, we're going to glue this 1/4 inch that's hanging on the edge right here. You're going to glue these down onto the inside. That's just for extra stability. So we're just going to glue that down. And do the same thing to this side. And glue that down. Okay, then what you're going to do next is you're going to fold down this piece like this so that it's lined up like this, and you're going to glue that part. So I just add the glue onto this side and I glue it down. You're going to do the same thing to the other side. Like this, and glue it. So now you're going to be left with something like this. So you have this right here and this. Then what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and cut off this excess. So as you guys can see my pattern paper, this is the part obviously that's going to be showing. I'm going to cut off this side. So just cut all that off. You don't need it. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. Okay. Trash. All right. And then all you're left with are something like this. Now to cover this hole, you're going to flip this and put it over it. So I like to use the hot glue and fill that little thing in here. And I try to touch the edge of my hot glue gun to the edge of the paper, because I want to make sure it's going to at least seal down. So you guys can see there's glue there. You're just going to glue that down. I have Maui in here in case you guys hear him. But okay, now these bottom areas right here, so it kind of looks like a little table. Hello. So it looks like a tiny table. And you're going to have this 1/2 inch right here at the bottom. This 1/2 inch, you're going to fold that up like this. Just like so. You're going to do that to both sides. And that's what you're going to use to glue onto your boombox. So this is going to get glued on to here. Now if you're going to add pattern paper to this, do it before you glue this down. I keep mine empty, so I'm going to go ahead and glue it. And I like to use hot glue, so I'm going to go ahead and use hot glue for this part. And you just want to, you're going to have about like, I would say 1/8 of an inch on this side. So just kind of measure 1/8 of an inch. And then I'm going to go ahead and just add hot glue to here and do the same thing to this side. Okay, perfect. And that's it, you guys. I know it looks super weird without any of the embellishing on there, but this is how it looks with the handle. And then when you open it up, you have your 2 cassette tape boxes. And these also open up. You can put embellishments or something inside. I will link down any related videos down below, so that way you guys can see the other one I have created, And then I'll also have the original process video as well. But I hope you guys enjoyed watching me put this together, and I hope that this helped you guys so that you guys can make one yourself. But there it is, you guys. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and leave them down below for me. And also, I totally forgot what I was going to say. But anyway, if you guys have any questions, you can go ahead and leave them down in the comment section for me. I will answer them as quick as I can. But I hope that you guys enjoyed today's tutorial, and I hope that you guys create some. If you do on Instagram, just tag me. I will check it. And, you know, I would love to see how you guys create these. I know Christian has had this video out for years, but it's taken me quite a while, and I finally was able to ask her. But this is my version. Basically, hers is the size of this. So these two together is the one that she has, because you can put 2 cassette tapes, or 4 cassette tapes in it. But mine is half of her size. So now you guys have a variety of ways to make your cassette boxes or your boom boxes, and I hope that this tutorial helped you guys. But I hope you guys have a great day, whatever day it is that y'all are watching this, and if I can, I will post or do a embellishing video. But yeah, I hope that you guys have a great day, and I will talk to you guys in my next video. Bye.